Hi, in this video I'm going to talk to you about influence and persuasion according to Robert Cialdini, how he defines or what he says are the key elements to persuasion and influence. The first might not surprise you, it's liking. It's easier for us to do business with people that we like, or if we're negotiating something, it's easier for us to make terms with that person if we like them. People like to be liked, and people like to feel like they're being liked. They use people, that's why social media was so popular with this whole thing of likes and comments and things like that. But I think people are gradually catching on that it's actually not a genuine sort of liking. Personal, one-to-one communication with people, where people actually genuinely like you, is really important for us. And it is key when we're trying to convince somebody or influence somebody to do business with us, or purchase our service or product, or negotiate with us, or whatever it is that we're trying to influence or persuade them. The next one also makes common sense because it's just social validation. We're a herding mammal, and as a result, for our survival, we need to be part of a tribe. And because of this need, this creates where it's very important for us to have social validation from people of our tribe, from our group. Now, also keep in mind, human beings tend to be very lazy, and a lot of times they don't like to think. And as a result, it's just much easier for them just to follow what everybody else is doing. So they say, oh, Betty and John are doing this, that must be the right thing to do, I'll just follow and do what they're doing. Or the person doesn't know what to do, so they look around and see what others are doing and say, oh, that's what I should be doing. Now, sometimes this is true, but many times this is false. And it's unfortunate because it leads people sometimes in the wrong direction in their lives. The next one is authority, and this is probably the most dangerous one. There was a really famous experiment done in the 1960s where they were giving people electrical shocks, or they were simulating giving people electrical shocks up to the level of death. Milgram's experiment. And it sort of explains why in World War II the Nazis or some of the soldiers were willing to do the things, the atrocities that they did, because they were following authority. And we need to be very careful with this, because what we perceive as authority, we tend to obey. A lot of times you'll see advertisers, they'll have a guy come on with a white gown like a doctor. He's not even a doctor, but because you see the white gown, you perceive him as an authority in toothpaste or aspirin or medicine or whatever, and you say, oh, he must know what he's talking about, and you take his advice. So authority is something we need to be aware of, that's a thing that influences and persuades us, and it's probably one of the most dangerous elements of these 7 components. The next is reciprocity. When somebody does something nice for you, it's very easy for you to do something nice back. It kind of like clears the debt, so to speak. So we don't like to be indebted to other people. So this is one way of making things, evening the score, so to speak. So reciprocity is a very, very powerful tool that you can use to persuade and influence people, particularly if it's genuine and it's true altruism. You're not just doing it to manipulate them to get something. The next one is scarcity. We always want something we can't have, or we perceive that we can't have, or we perceive that something is in limited supply. Just think about the recent pandemic with coronavirus. Everybody went out and cleaned out the supermarkets of toilet paper. Now, nobody ever was told that coronavirus created diarrhea, so what was the madness about the toilet paper? That's an example of human mentality. So when we perceive something as limited, or we can't get enough of it, or the resource is in scarcity, we'll want it all that much more. So that's why you see people online, especially in the websites, and say, for the next 3 days you can get 40% off, but only for the next 3 days, blah, 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 blah. These are methods used to manipulate you into taking action now. It's all bogus, actually. But they're using the psychology knowing that that thing that you think is scarce, you'll want it that much more. Again, it's human nature, and as animals or mammals that we are, it is a factor that influences our behavior. The next one is consistency. And we all like consistency because it involves predictability. And predictability means comfort zone. So we like to know what's happening. We don't really like to have to think and take a lot of action and change stuff a lot, because generally speaking, humans, we're lazy. Most of us anyway. So because of that, consistency is something that we like, things that are consistent. We don't like things that change a lot. So this is another way that influences and persuades people. And the last one is commitment. Once someone has made a commitment to something, they're much less likely to change direction, unless there's really a monumental reason to change direction. So commitment is really important. If you get somebody to commit on a small thing, then they may commit on something bigger and so forth. You've heard of the yes frames, where you get somebody to say, yes, it's a beautiful weather today. Yes, you're here with me today and we're speaking. Yes, da 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 da. Now people know that you're setting them up. And I talk about this in one of my videos, talking about the power of no and why no is so cool. And beware of the yes. But people do like commitment. So keeping that in mind, you have 7 principles here taught by Robert Cialdini that you can apply to persuade and influence people more effectively, or maybe say even just manipulate people more effectively. Hopefully you'll do the former and not the latter. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, have a fantastic day.